have my condolences to the plane crash that they had in Lafayette and to the LSU family. Sorry to hear about that, and it's that's a tough one. Yeah, I'll tell you what, I hadn't been up here in a while, and we're able to. Actually, our education game went really, really well. Emily Logan was in charge of it in our marketing department and did a great job of getting a bunch of screaming kids out. And I thought we played really well against Mississippi State. To be down by 5, actually by 2 when they hit the half-court shot at half, we felt that we were pretty much in the game. And down the stretch, just kind of some turnovers kind of hurt us. But I thought we played really well, and it was fun to play in front of a crowd, young crowd, and try to promote our sport. And then from there on, from there we go to Ole Miss right before Christmas, and I thought we played really well to hold them to 42 points. An SEC opponent on the road, I thought was pretty big, and was a good win for our program. I think this is the second win that we have over Ole Miss since we've been here in the 8-year period, so it's been good. I think we're 2-3 against them. And then we go to Jackson State last night, and I think just with some of the injuries we have and shortage of people, it's not an excuse, but didn't play well the first or second quarter, and were able to come back the third and fourth quarter and played really well. Shot the ball better. I think we scored 27 points in the third quarter, so we were able to kind of get our scoring going. First half, I think we were shooting like 20% from the field, so that hurt us, but now we got to regroup going into conference this week and see what we have. We're not sure who's going to be available or not.
So you said you don't know what to expect from this Jackson. I mean, you said that in the last press conference because it's always kind of a weird game. So was it just kind of holiday hangover, and how much do you take out of that game moving forward?
Well, I think it was a mixture of a lot of things. The referees were 45 minutes. I mean, we warmed up 4 different times, and I'm not excused, but, and I didn't really worry about it as a coach. I just tried to put it out. I actually locked myself in the locker room while they were warming up. We warmed up, and then at the 40-minute mark, before the game was supposed to start, they came and said the referees would be 30 minutes late, so they put 30 minutes more on the clock. Well, that ran out, and they said, well, we're going to put 15 more minutes on the clock, and they did. So I didn't really know what to do with the kids because we really have a set routine that we do, and it was thrown off. I mean, theirs was all off too, but so it was one of those games that, it was just sloppy. We couldn't shoot the ball. We didn't defend. It took us a whole half to get warmed up to start playing basketball. So, and then coming off the break and all that, you always were. Hopefully this is the game that we got rid of everything and we can start to play like we normally play.
So you think that?
I think it was a combination.
It was bad.
Yeah, it could, and that's why you do it, It's not fun while you do it, but yeah, you do it to try to make sure that we can get going in these important games, these conference games that are coming up, especially these 2 are going to be extremely important.
Tell us about what you're facing matchup-wise.
Georgia State is really talented. I know they haven't played early on as good as I expected them to, but they got a lot of talent. They got some guard play that's really good, and pretty much almost all the team returning. The thing that's surprising me is people are scoring a little bit on them now, and I didn't expect that. I thought they would be a little bit better defensively, but that'll be a tough matchup. Georgia Southern played Ole Miss pretty good. They're athletic. They're a brand new coach. They're playing really, really hard for her. I think there's a big difference in how hard they're playing. So it's going to be a matchup of guards. They don't really have a lot of size, so it's going to be a small ball game. They play small ball too. So I don't really know what to expect for them because it's a new coach. Watching some of the film and all that and what they're running, it's pretty simplified, but the expectation of how we're going to guard them, what we're going to do is still kind of up in the air.
It's always important, but for this group, how important is it to get off to a pretty good start in conference and not kind of put yourself behind the 8 ball?
Kevin, we haven't really had, in the 8-year period, we never really had a lot of home games early on. And, in college basketball, home games are extremely important. And I think right now, we have 5 out of 6 on the road. I'm not sure how we come up with scheduling. I wish we could have that answer, and it would change. If it could change every other year, it would be fine, you know. But it seems like we're on the road, and can you get off? I mean, if we get off to a good start with 5 games on the road, the first 5, I mean, that'd be awesome for us. You know, we just haven't in 8 years that we've been here. Our start, it's always our finish, you know, and I think it carries over into the tournament. But I thought going to the Georgia schools right away, I thought we'd have a pretty good chance of splitting like we're always talking about, and hopefully we can do that. But man, if we could, you know, get a couple of wins on the road, I think that would be good for us to kind of motivate us. Now, if we could go undefeated in these next 6 games, that would be really huge for us, you know.
You mentioned injuries. You have new injuries?
Yeah, we have a knee injury to Jasmine Thomas that happened last night. They'll evaluate they'll do therapy on her for the next 2 weeks. She'll be probably out in at least 2 weeks. So we'll see how that goes. And then
New or a recurrence of the old?
No, it's a new one. It's actually her good knee that she had never really had any problems with. So we know it's not an ACL tear, so that's the great thing about it. It's just going to take some rehab and some reevaluation to see where we'll be at. And we're projecting, you know, a week or 2 on that. And then with Ty Doucette, she got hit in the head, so she's not even in concussion protocol, but they're evaluating her day to day.
That happened last night?
No, against Ole Miss. Ty didn't play last night. And then Skylar Goodwin was out last night, but she was with sick. She was just been sick with sinus infection and all that. So we had some people out last night. Actually, 2 starters out last night.
You must have been really last night before that game while you were waiting, and you got.
Yeah, it was kind of a different situation that I've really never been in, where you have to wait on referees to show up, and then how do you warm up a kid? You know, if I had to do it over, I would have just kept them in the locker room and try to figure out when the 40 minutes or I would have made them start the 40 minutes like we normally do. But I mean, it just took so long, and you know, I know everybody around us was waiting, so it was a tough situation for the kids too. But the good thing about it is, you know, that second half, man, and for us to play like we did and to come back, I was really pleased. Any questions?
No. My question was, with the win against Ole Miss, I guess it's interesting because you win against Ole Miss. Obviously, you have a funny game like you did yesterday against Jackson State. But like, how do you carry the confidence of we played well against Mississippi State, we beat Ole Miss, like we can do this, we can conquer the conference if we play like this on a night-to-night basis?
Well, I mean, I think it's a perfect example to the media too, like for Bob and them too, is like when you don't have your players, it's very difficult to play against whoever, you know. When you got to start subbing and starting with different lineups. And man, at one point yesterday in the second quarter, man, I'm looking and man, you just don't feel comfortable with the different lineups. And it's just a mixture of lineups. You know, these kids can play, but if you put them in a position where they can be successful in their role, and last night was a little difficult because we didn't, I mean, our inside presence of Ty Doucette is huge for us, man. I mean, she scores 18-20 against a SEC school. I mean, even against Mississippi State, she didn't play as well offensively, but she did a lot of good things defensively. So when you start to sub that and all that, I mean, I don't know what the answer is, man. It's just that I know one thing: you don't become as good a coach when you don't have as good of players. It's difficult. So, you know, I feel for Bob and him. You know, we went through this last year. You know, and everybody was like, "Oh man, this team's not that good." We were that good. We just didn't have the players that were available. And you know, Stevie P says it all the time: availability is the best ability. You know, you got to have those kids. Got to be available, and it's just a little bit on the tougher side.
But I guess my real question was, do you feel like that momentum is killed, or like can you carry that momentum? Because it sounds like yesterday it may never happen again. Like it's just really weird. So can you carry the momentum of Ole Miss and Mississippi State into conference play, or do you feel like the injuries or whatever else kind of doesn't allow it to?
Yeah, and I think I bet for the game yesterday, you know, you look at it and so you could take it as a negative effect. Well, we're not as good as we thought we were. No, that's not it. at all because, I mean, the availability of when we have all our kids available, when our team is a complete team, because we're a team, you know, we're playing 10, 11 kids, but we need all 10, 11 kids to be able to come in, and when they feel, or we make sure that we put them in a situation where they feel comfortable. That was the thing last year. We were never comfortable. I mean, if you noticed this play, it was all, we could stay in the game, but it wasn't a comfortable feeling for the kids. And then it doesn't feel we were comfortable this year, you know, against Mississippi, or against whoever. And so now we just got to get everybody back so we can, you know, put them in. And I think the momentum build is I have complete confidence in our kids, you know. I mean, we played hard against Mississippi State, played really well. Ole Miss, you know, you go get a win. So we got to continue that on, you know. It's like, can we keep on building on that? I think that's an important thing too, you know. And we got to show that in practice today and, you know, continue on as coaches, you know. We can't hang our heads because people aren't available. You got to find a way to continue to get better. And we did the second half. You know, the first half didn't really work out. It was probably one of the worst halves we had all year. Some of it a hangover from being, you know, I mean, I know the other coach was kind of complaining about being off 4 or 5 days and how they're going to come back. And, you know, it's, and we didn't have great practices coming back, but that's why we do it, you know. I wish we could ever figure out a way to start conference later. And I know that'll never happen, but I mean, around Christmas time, you know, these kids are kids and they have families, so you have to let them enjoy some part of their lives and let them go back home. And it's just kind of part of how do you evaluate that. And I'm a family guy. I want them to be able to go and enjoy. Christmas is huge to us, you know. And so I think that's the tough thing, you know. It's like, is basketball more important or is family? So you're trying to balance it. It's tough. It's a tough balance. Thank y'all.